All right, guys, this is the first episode of the Codec Corner, live 2015. My name is Jalen from Quantumcodec.com. With me, I have DeAndres, aka D, Colby, and Bruce.
What? We don't have no AKAs?
AKA the best ever, super fantastic, ultimate. It goes on for a while, so we'll just skip through that.
And Kobe's is just Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe's just Kobe.
That's right.
All right. Who wants to drive? Me or you, D?
I'll drive.
Okay.
We are tech-based podcast. We talk about games, technology, from hardware to software, movies, TV. Just we throw a bunch of shenanigans in there. But I guess since we've already done the introduction, I guess we can start off with pretty much what everybody is looking forward to this year the most. Your most anticipated thing this year, whether it be game, tech, movie, television show, it doesn't matter. And I guess, Jay, we'll start with you, Jay.
All right. Our first topic I want to go over is a game, and it's one of my most anticipated games of the year. Batman Arkham Knight.
Of course, everybody love Batman.
Everybody.
Everybody love Batman.
Not everybody.
Not enough people love Batman.
I'm gonna have to be devil's advocate on this one. Not everybody.
Okay, this
Even people who don't love Batman still love Batman.
Batman.
Okay, release date for this is June 2nd, and this one went back to Rocksteady Studios. So has everybody seen the gameplay footage they released a few months back?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
That's pretty much all you can say about it. Amazing.
Yes, that's as bad as Batman as a game can get. Right there.
The one thing though I'm skeptical of with this game is everything they got you doing in the car. The car is pretty much a tank in almost every last one of the trailers that they showed. So I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna take away a little bit from the on foot gameplay that everybody's been used to these last couple of years.
First of all, it's a Batmobile.
Jay, you took that defensively. Come on.
It's supposed to be able to do everything. I'm surprised it's not flying too, but anyway.
It is a Batmobile. Excuse me.
I think the Batmobile will be a good addition this go around. I don't think they took anything away from how we've been playing it traditionally. I can only see this helping, and the only bad thing I can see coming about this is having to do some forced Batmobile missions.
Yeah, you might be in a couple. It definitely looks like they want this to be one of the main focuses of the game. So you probably definitely be put in a few situations where you have no choice but to be in the Batmobile. Let me put that in air quotes.
But then again, would that necessarily be a bad thing?
I don't know.
I guess it really just comes down to the mechanics. Like if the Batmobile doesn't suck, then it'll be cool it'll be all right to have to use it sometime.
Yeah, I mean, if it performs well, if they can get that down, get the movement, get the controls down where they're easy, and good to work with. But I'm worried if they overdo it and stuff, it'll take away from some of the Batman quality of the game, because that's the thing. You want to be Batman, not the Batmobile. So I
think that personally I might end up being in the Batmobile all the time. Like whenever possible. Like I think
if they do it free roam, like GTA sometimes it's just fun just riding down the street, blasting your music and stuff. That's enjoyable. But you can still play the game, and have that. So if there's a good free roam element to it, I think it won't matter. You can just hop in the Batmobile, drive around, and that'll kind of satisfy, some of that need.
Yeah, I agree.
So, did anybody check out the combat with Arkham Knight?
Is it different?
Y'all have any? It's slightly. There's like a slow motion element into it.
Yeah, Batman is slightly killing you a little bit better in this one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't blame them. There's not much you can change to that. Like, it's a good system. So.
Not without disappointing or upsetting everybody. I don't think they can tweak that combat in too many ways without upsetting the whole populace that actually like this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, but the slow motion is okay. I mean, they seem to be adding, just tweaking things here and there to kind of make it a little bit more, I guess, new for this next one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at them for just flash, putting flashy lights on it. So it's a good, from what I hear, and from what I've seen and played, it's a good system so far. So I mean, I couldn't. Like, it's better off for them to play it safe than to mess around with it and take it in a bad direction, like so many other games have done, for messing around with their mechanics too much. So,
yeah, I hope they a little bit better than Origins did. I think Warner Brothers Studios kind of just took the fighting system for granted, and it got kind of loose in Origins. I don't know how many times I got Batman punched in the back of the head because he couldn't counter anybody standing directly behind him, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they've pushed it back. I think they've pushed it back twice. So Jay, it comes out June the 2nd. You gonna have to. It's this your review, so you're gonna have to take some of that bias out of there.
Mm-hmm. Bat fan.
I'm
gonna be honest.
It's in his hands. It's great. It's the best I've ever played.
You're gonna have to be able to separate yourself from.
The disc is shiny.
If it's a bad game, you're gonna have to call it what it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Batman, I think that's going to flood in a little bit anyway, because Batman is such a, thing that can't go wrong right now. Yeah. That there's, like, I don't think it's just, here that you have to worry about. I think all reviewers are going to have to worry a little bit about just being a little biased towards it, because the game already has, from the other games, it's already got hype moving it, Yeah,
and it's always odd when a publisher loses a property and then gains it back. You never really know what they're going to bring back with it and what they're not.
Exactly. Yeah, because also there's not necessarily the same people working,
Exactly.
Yeah, so it may have a different feel to it than it did before.
Yeah, this is supposed to be Rocksteady's last foray as far as Batman goes. But I have one question for you, Jay. If you think they're going, in any kind of way, you think they'll tie this game to the upcoming Batman Superman movie? You think Superman will make a debut anywhere in this game?
No, these games, if I remember right, are supposed to be based off the animated series.
Okay.
Which isn't a bad way to go.
The movie universe. You're right.
I just know Superman need all the help he can get.
Yeah.
And by tying him any way possible to these successful Batman games, that might be a big thing.
Yeah, which honestly, one of the, I don't know if we'll ever see a working Superman game, kind of that's the only way they can really do them is featured. Because I don't know if we can ever see a, good working Superman game. Even if it has, one big thing I like is that they're finally moving towards a free roam element, which I've always been a fan with. Spider-Man 2, that is one of my favorite games. And it's just because you could go through New York City and nothing's tied to you. You can go anywhere there. Yeah. And they're not, trying to pressure you to follow this route or whatever. You do the story, but in your downtime between missions, zip around, jump off buildings, and do flips and whatnot. Yeah. And that made the game a lot of fun.
But think about the expectations for that game. Nobody was expecting that. And coming from Spider-Man 1, the first game.
Coming from the days of, you fall into this, pink gas and die.
Yes, you
for whatever
quit
reason,
swinging.
You can't touch the city's ground.
Yes.
The pollution's so bad in New York.
What's sad is that Spider-Man 2 still has the best swing mechanic out of any Spider-Man game to
Oh my
date.
God, it was beautiful. It was perfect. Like, I never messed up the pizzas when I delivered them as Spider-Man, which nobody found weird. Like, Spider-Man's delivering my pizza? That's okay. It's normal for New York. All right. He has to make a living too.
All right, Jay, you have anything else to say about Batman?
No, we'll cover this in a later podcast. We actually need to move on.
Because okay, well, Bruce, what's your most anticipated thing coming in 2015?
I would say I want to say The Division, but I've been really, really skeptical of every single thing that's been announced. Like, I don't know why. Like, I just feel like everything's going to, because there's been examples. Every year you fall into this trap. They show you something at E3 and everybody hypes it up. Oh, it looks amazing. It's going to be the best thing ever. And then they just show you like here's the system that I think happens. They show it to you. Everybody sees it and they process it and they're like, oh, what if this happens? And they come up with their own ideas instead of just taking it for what they showed you.
Yeah.
And then the game comes out and you have all these expectations and it's like, no, like it's just what they showed you at E3. It's nothing more than that.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with a lot of people. Kind of Destiny, our imaginations kind of ran with us. And then Destiny came out and it's like, oh, well.
I take Destiny a little bit because Bungie made promises. Now, I kind of blame people for putting expectations on the game, but when they announced Destiny, they came out and said that game was going to be, they said, like, when you come up with it, when you find that gun within that world, like, you getting to that gun was going to be a story within itself. That's kind of like how Destiny made it sound when Bungie made it sound when they announced Destiny. So some of that I kind of think they did. I kind of think they put that expectation on the game as well as regular people.
Yes, which that's the thing that happens too. Is like these, of course, they're trying to sell their game. You know, these companies, they tell you the sweetest things about their game. And everybody's just like, oh, getting hyped up and stuff. Titanfall was another one. When Titanfall beta came out, I played that. I played the beta, and it was like 5 guns and 3 Titans and 2 maps and 6 game modes. I'm probably exaggerating how much of this stuff it was. But I was just like, okay, it's a beta. You know, they're not going to release everything, kind of like how Battlefield does.
Yeah.
And the game came out, and it was exactly what the beta was. And I'm just like, where's the rest of it? Like, I'm still waiting on the rest of it.
I think Destiny kind of suffered from a little bit of both, too. Like, you know, they were saying, well, you'll be able to travel from Earth, you'll be able to go to Mars, you'll be able to go to the moon. And people took that as, we can travel the galaxy. There's going to be unlimited planets.
Yes.
You know, Bungie was also like, well, it's going to be the smoothest MMO on a console. There'll be chat. You'll be able to gamble. You know, all these little bells and whistles that never made it to the game. And I think a lot of times fans will accept that if they just say, look, we couldn't get it to go in. But they just kind of never mention it again. Like, oh, did we say that? I don't think so. I don't really know. I guess you did.
I think one day the story behind what really happened with Destiny will make its way out. Because you couldn't tell that Destiny is a bad game in my house. It's on my TV 24 hours a day. My sons love the hell out that game, and I made it all the way to level 17, and I just couldn't do it anymore. Just everything was repetitive. And I know with the upgrades and stuff, they've changed a lot of things, but I just can't seem to go back to it.
Yeah, which that's one thing I've noticed about Destiny is it's very selective. Like, there's people who love the game to death, and then there's other people who just whatever. Like I'm done with it.
I'm level 29, I think, and I've run the Vault through Glass. I don't have the expansion yet. I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. I think I'm kind of ending my Destiny run, but I didn't have any problems with it. Like, with what actually ended up coming out as the final product, it was repetitive, but Bungie does a really good job of making repetitiveness still stay fun. I mean, it's the same thing for Halo and everything. Like, I don't know how much I played Halo 2 and Halo over and over and over for years. So
I want I think, well, I don't even second guess it. Destiny was the best shooter last year as far as mechanics go. It was nothing else, not Call of Duty, anything else that could touch it last year as far as shooting mechanics go. But we've got side rails. Bruce, what about the Division are you looking forward to?
Yes, that was actually next. Let's just move on to the
My
Division.
apologies. Way off. The Division. I'm like, that's the thing. Like, I'm only admiring the Division. Like, I'm only looking forward to it as long as it keeps to where, like, around where my mind, has it placed. And I want to expect that. I want to expect that of them, that the game's going to look as beautiful as they, showed us to. I want to expect that the glass is going to shatter and take bullet damage, and that you're going to, close a door when you slide by it. Like, I remember everybody going crazy over that and stuff. And that's a cool thing that those little minor things are in there, because it makes you assume that level of detail is going to be put throughout the whole game. And that's what I'm worried about, is that it's not. And the game's going to kind of watchdog and degrade a little bit. And the world's not going to be as big as they want to, trick you into believing it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's New York, but go ahead, Kobe. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. It's when Assassin's Creed came out and they had the like environment recognition with other NPCs where you kind of walk by and push on them and stuff like that. Everybody thought like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. But people turn on it really quickly when you start falling through the level and can't do anything.
Yeah.
So the mechanics are definitely a major factor.
Yeah, the Division is I feel the same way as you, Bruce. It's one of my most anticipated games of this year. The one thing to where I might have to drop the mic and leave is if I have to climb a tower in this game to synchronize the world.
Yeah, if they keep doing that.
Some kind of way zip line down to a
Well, what if they made that a part of the experience though? Like what if that was actually a mission that you go on with your, friends or something like that?
That might be okay. But did anybody play the crew racing game other than me?
I played the demo for like a second.
Okay.
Nothing more than that.
In the crew, you have to drive up to these kind of satellite locations to unlock the world. The same way you do in Assassin's Creed, the same way you do in Far Cry. It all was the same. I think if they do this, like they have a chance with the Division to kind of redefine some of their mechanics, some of their gameplay. And if they do the same thing that they've done in the last 3 games, from Assassin's Creed to the crew to Far Cry
and Watch Dogs,
I kind of think people are going to really lose interest, especially if it's like what Bruce said, if the world really isn't that big.
Yeah, and one thing that I've kind of been concerned about is the party system, as far as so far it looks like it may be 4 players, but every time we see it, it's 3 players and 1 person on the tablet.
Yeah.
So, I can't say for sure whether it's going to be 4. I would hope that it would be at least. But, I mean, that's another thing, is I don't know why party systems are still so small. Like Destiny, 3 people, there's 4 people. It seemed like you could get at least up to 8, so you can run around with friends and everything. And that's the other thing, is how many people are we going to see? Who am I going to pass by? Like, is it going to be like Destiny and it's like, oh, there's 3 people, bye. Like, yes, this MMO where I see 16 people at the hub, all together. Like, I'm sorry, but that's weak. 16 people in a hub, like Phantasy Star Universe on Xbox 360, early on Xbox 360, when it was first coming out, around maybe a year or 2 after the Xbox 360 release, there were tons of people at the central hub. 16? Come on. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if it's going to be next gen, be next gen.
Yeah, I kind of think they put a caveat on that with probably as vast as the world is going to be. That's probably, if they limit the players, kind of like Destiny, they'll limit the players because of how vast they say the world is. And once you get into Destiny, it actually wasn't that big. Like going from whatever, like from the moon to Earth, the locations weren't that big. But I think that might be the justification that they use.
Yeah,
everything that's running in the background.
Yeah,
So-
which I mean, really is a poor one. Because that's the thing, you don't see it. You don't really see it. Like when you actually get in the game and stuff. I want to see people. I want to pass by people and know that those are people that I'm passing by.
Well, which do you value more, like having more people in the world or having a more, I guess, larger and more detailed environment to play in?
Anybody else want to go first on that?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Honestly, for me, right now we should be able to do both, but that's beside the point. 2015 aside, I say I would like them to sacrifice sacrifice a portion just to make it more, immersive as far as a real world element. Because that's the thing, you play games, these types of games, you expect to meet people.
Yeah.
That's expected.
Yeah.
So if they take away part of the thing that makes it fun, the whole thing that you buy it for, I mean,
I'm interested to see what the PvP aspects are. Like, is it PvP on all the time? Like is it Arma 2 when you run into somebody? they might share stuff with you, or they might just take you out. Like, is it a situation where it's guns drawn every time somebody comes around a corner, or are they going to be, is it going to be, I guess, more of like a Grand Theft Auto situation where you can enter the same world where it's PvP oriented?
I think it's going to be more like Grand Theft Auto because Ubisoft has stated that you can play this game completely solo. Even though it has those MMO aspects on it, they said that this game is completely soloable. So I kind of think they have to have that turned off for the people who really don't want to interact with the rest of the people that's actually in
which
the
I
game.
wouldn't mind separate worlds like PvE and PvP. That would be nice, to have, just because that creates a whole new element to a game when you're constantly have to be like GTA. I'm scared to step out my house, and it's fantastic. Like, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, you get griefed a lot in GTA online.
I mean, it makes it fun though. It makes stories, like, oh man, I was just walking outside my house and this dude runs by in a car and they're shooting at me and I, do something kind of crazy, and I mean, that's part of the fun of it, so.
But here's the biggest thing for you. Do you honestly believe this game will come out this year?
Woo! Well, they didn't put that release date on it, so.
And that release date has been pushed, like, it hasn't even had a release date, and that's been pushed back.
Yes,
I feel like I watched the video for The Division like 4 years ago.
The release date is 2015 question mark.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Like,
with Ubisoft, if you're not Assassin's Creed, you're not guaranteed. That's pretty much what it is.
and the thing about that is, it in a way that worked for Watch Dogs. Because wasn't that Ubisoft's highest selling game of all times or something like that?
It was the highest selling game for them last year, and towards the end of the year was the least talked about game.
Yes.
See, there's been so much hype for this one that I believe it's gonna pass Watch Dogs.
I don't know if it can pass, like, it may die faster than Watch Dogs if it doesn't live up, though, because we've just been in a cycle of hype not equaling out to like what the game delivers.
Yeah.
Because you just think about it, Destiny, Titanfall, like all of those. The Last of Us was one of the only ones where that kind of met up to the hype.
Yeah, the last game that really come out that I remember seeing any gameplay about and thinking, all right, this is gonna be awesome. And it ended up being awesome was The Last of Us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The Last of Us was a game I spent majority of the time watching. I watched my son play that whole game. And I enjoyed it. It felt like I was sitting there playing. But
that's probably my favorite game.
Yeah, the one thing I say about The Division is, unlike Watch Dogs or Assassin's Creed, the one thing that's going to make this game is the stories that the people who play this game create. Like, it's gonna definitely have a story to it. But the one thing that's going to make it a long-lasting game is the stories that people come back to the water cooler with and tell the next day something that happened in the game. That it's going to word of mouth. I think is what's going to carry this game.
Yeah, and then you also have that element that if it, has almost a little bit not. extremely hardcore, but a little bit of a hardcore, like, MMO system to it, Yeah. Like there's things that you can do that help you, get better weapons or get better gear or whatever and all that. Things that you can share with people, like information bartering almost. Like, hey, man, have you done this, thing? It gets you this and all that. If they can get people to be involved in the game and talking about it, that's one of the things. That's how MMOs kind of survive off of just, that communication and helping one another achieve things for both parties,
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel like they may, I don't know if they may try to like force PvP in situations, like put weapons caches and stuff like this in certain locations and say, all right, the only way to get to it is a fight over it kind of stuff. I don't want to feel like I'm forced into anything specific.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Cole,
Go ahead.
Colby, we'll move on to your most anticipated for 2015.
All right, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna say probably Age of Ultron.
Okay. A movie. Okay.
A movie.
Yeah. Yep. I was real skeptical about Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't know if Marvel had become the brand juggernaut that they clearly proved that they were, and could just make a blockbuster off of name alone. Because there's nobody in that movie that really anybody knows outside of, pretty hardcore comic book readers.
That's true.
And it made almost $1 billion, or it may actually be over $1 billion at this point.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
it
well,
grossed
let me,
over $1 billion.
You gotta think about it though. The actors help with that too.
Yeah.
They had a nice cast. They definitely had a nice cast.
Definitely. And the directing, everything about Guardians of the Galaxy was great. And then now this is kind of Joss Whedon's second ensemble movie. He's moving in. They're moving into the next phase of everything. Age of Ultron, and subsequently a little bit Ant-Man, kind of really set the bar for the next phase, which is going to be the most important, because the next phase is when DC steps in, and now Marvel just isn't the only fish in this tiny little pond. You got DC stepping in, trying to take some of that limelight.
But they're not worried though.
Can't even keep a straight face. Keep a straight face when you mention DC.
Yes, you know where the laughter comes from. My God,
Yeah.
I think DC better stick to the video games and let Marvel.
Or the animated, video games, animated movies.
Yeah, they
do not leave that area.
They do animated movies very well.
But Batman's going to be in a movie, so that movie's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
Making a lot of money isn't the same thing as being good, though.
Not at all.
Okay.
But Warner Brothers doesn't know that. They can't really differentiate.
Okay, here's my thing about Marvel, and I'm gonna go ahead and I guess get into this. I wish we can have this whole divide going on. It's like, I just wish we can have this issue solved. Like, who has the right to the Fantastic Four? Who has the right to Spider-Man? I wish all those licenses would just go back to Marvel. The only exception I can see is Fox having X-Men, because they've had that for how many years now?
Mm-hmm.
Like
over a decade.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've done well with
the movies. Yeah.
I should say they've not done well. They've had time to I guess find their groove with it, because we do know how X-Men 3 was. Wolverine, pretty much every Wolverine standalone Wolverine movie.
But Wolverine sells.
He does.
I say they just now got it back together with First Class. So
yeah, I used to be on the same page. I used to want Marvel Studios and kind of Disney to have all their properties, but I feel like if they did, we wouldn't even have a Fantastic Four movie. We're going to touch on the Fantastic Four movie in a minute, but I feel like, with Warner Brothers and DC, it'd kind of be a similar situation where it's like, all right, Wolverine sells, so does that mean we wouldn't have had a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? Like, we wouldn't be getting, a Black Panther movie? Because why even take the risk when you can make a Wolverine and a Captain America movie?
Yep.
and make $1 billion every year. So
I think
Exactly. I think it was good for them, but now isn't like it's becoming an okay transition period to move them back because they've already established these, and they have that confidence now that they can do these lesser, characters and still have, them be fantastic movies.
Okay. Let me ask you this: who you think would do a better Fantastic Four movie, Marvel or Fox?
Marvel.
See,
yeah,
that's my point exactly. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think Fox could do it if Fox knew what Fantastic Four was.
but Fox don't have that Disney power.
I don't know that Fox knows what movies are. That's problem.
Have you guys seen anything about the Fantastic Four? A set photo, anything? This movie finished
I've seen a little
filming.
Yes, I've seen a couple of set. Well, they're not really necessarily official set photos, but there was the one photo that leaked when none of the cast members were wearing like the same uniform, and then the girl playing Invisible Woman came out and said, "Well, we're not even going to have uniforms or costumes or anything like that."
See.
Well, it's already baked in controversy from the casting of the Human Torch.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see.
To me, is my favorite part of the whole project is Michael B. Jordan playing the Human Torch. I think he's going to kill it.
See, I'm okay with that, but I feel like they're not going to make it make sense. Like, I feel like they're going to change it to where they're not even brother and sister. Like, are they even going to have powers in this?
Yeah, like, that's my thing. The whole thing with Fantastic Four, like,
it's not really
Fantastic Four.
Okay.
It seems like they're just doing a movie like superpowers. Just call it that.
Do we know who?
David Doom is like supposed to be basically a computer hacker.
Yeah, so what's the point of calling it Fantastic Four if they're not doing a Fantastic Four movie? And that's been my biggest gripe with some of these superhero movies in general, is that they come in and they're like, oh, this is popular, let's do a movie on it. And then they change everything about the popular thing that they're basing it off of. So why would it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do something and change it from what it was.
Yeah. Do we know who's the director on this movie?
Josh Trank.
Okay.
He did Chronicles, and a lot of people are kind of basically saying Fantastic Four is kind of Chronicles 2, which I don't know if y'all saw Chronicles or not.
I saw Chronicles.
I was honestly, that's what I was thinking. That I just couldn't think of the name of the movie, but that's actually what I was going to call out. It's like it may as well be that movie.
And it may very well be.
He's doing a good job. Yeah, he's doing a good job of making that.
They wanted him to make Fantastic Four. He wanted to make a Chronicles sequel. So he's making Chronicles 2, calling it Fantastic Four.
Okay, just to give you guys an idea of how this movie is going to go, I heard that the actor who's playing the Invisible Woman, she started to read some comics to get familiar with the Fantastic Four.
As they always do.
And the director said, don't worry about it. From what I hear. It's not even a joke.
That sounds like how the movie's going.
It's like the rumor about Warner Brothers saying, when Mark Guggenheim and Jeff Johns pitched the Green Lantern movie to Warner Brothers, they said, okay, this sounds like a really good idea. Let's make this movie. Can we do it without him having a ring? No, we cannot.
Okay, so pretty much what I'm hearing is that we all should just red box the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh no, I have to see it in theaters.
Wait, how much does red box charge?
$1.
Yeah, $1.
Oh, it's a little bit more than $1 now.
And the gas money.
I think if they change this to Chronicle 2, it'll do well.
Chronicles didn't do bad.
Yeah,
Chronicles didn't do bad. I think the guy who played the antagonist in that movie, he was kind of awful.
Good. Now, if we see this movie come out and it's called Fantastic Four: The Chronicles, we know. Then we know.
We know.
Well, they're supposed to be doing a lot. They're doing a lot of reshoots in Louisiana now too. Some people are saying it's kind of going back and forth. Some people are saying, "Oh, well, the reshoots were already scheduled to be done," and some people are saying that there was some information leaked that Fox wasn't happy with what they saw from the movie. So they're trying to just change it completely without changing a whole lot of it.
That sounded like some of the things that was going on with the Man of Steel, like Batman, Superman. It sounded like it. I remember at one point it sounded like they were rewriting or reshooting some things for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably worked.
Yeah, but let's go into that. Can we go deep into Batman v Superman now? Can we jump into that pool real quick and just?
Go, I mean, you sound like you have a rant, so I say go ahead.
You got 5 minutes, Bruce.
I got 5 minutes. Let's do this. All right. My issue is that for all, like, my first issue is everything that I hear from that movie sounds horrible. I hate it. Every single thing I hear. I'm trying to think of one good thing that I like I've heard that I like, and I got nothing. I'm drawing a blank. But here's my
Jesse
other.
Eisenberg? Come on, Bruce. Come on.
Here's my thing. Here's my one good thing, and it's not even from that movie. It's that The Rock is being The Rock will be Black Adam, which is a great.
Yeah.
Here's my problem with that though. Is that he's Black Adam in a universe where Ben Affleck is Batman and Wonder Woman is Gal Gadot or whatever her name is. I'm sorry, no offense to her. Yes. That's my issue. It's like all the good things that could happen will be happening in a universe that sucks.
Why can't Black Adam and The Rock go to Marvel?
Yes, why can't all of DC just go to Marvel? Why can't they? And I feel bad for the guys who actually write these comics who are sitting there just with their hands on their head, just, man.
Yeah.
My hard work just being, crapped on.
And just so everybody knows, we're primarily DC fans here.
Yeah, like there is no bias. It's just that DC is that bad that we're sitting here like, like I don't know them. I'm not with them.
Exactly.
I gotta go out and buy a Marvel shirt today.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I at least want to see what the first couple of trailers look like for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it. Like I'll be in line, first in line. But I'm probably going to hate it. That's the thing. Like I'm ready to see it, but I'm going to hate it.
Well, at least you curbed the expectation. So if it does end up being good,
I hope.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. Like that's what I'm saying is even if it is a good movie, what's her name? I can't even remember the actor's name, but they're doing the dark. It seems like they're going with a Dark Knight Returns theme, and honestly, I think that's a horrible storyline. Like it was. Don't get me wrong, entertaining, yes, but horrible as far as story. It's a Batman fan, fiction.
Yeah, but it worked for Batman, and they seem to be trying to put that.
Will it work for the Justice League though?
Yeah.
That 60-year-old Batman with listen here, you whippersnappers. Let me show you how to justice.
All right, we'll move on real quick. And I'll take one of my most anticipated for 2015. Has everybody heard about the game, little game called No Man's Sky?
Oh
yes. I saw the video, and I don't know. I don't believe it's real.
I want to go ahead and get this out the way first. This game has the possibility to be one of the best games ever made or one of the worst debacles to ever come out.
Yes, it looks like a future Minecraft.
It does.
I put it to you like this. If what you can do in that preview that they showed is possible, that has to be all there is to the game. It has to be.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, because when I watched the preview, I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, and just, they show the vastness of space, just how far you can travel. And it all sounds so sweet. And you land on the planets. I don't know how big the planets actually are when you're flying through them. But you can land on each individual planet and explore around and stuff. But my thing when I was watching it that came to mind, I'm just like, what do you do?
Yeah, that's what everybody's gripe is. Because we know that you're going to be able to create your own stories depending on how you explore. And each planet that you discover, that's a new planet you get to name. Each animal that you discover that no one else has discovered, you get to name that animal, and it shows in the world for everyone else to see. But what gets me is that Sean Murray, the lead developer of this with Hello Games, said that as vast as this world is, you may never come across another player.
Yeah.
You know, you could spend, just countless hours, 20, 30, 40 in this game and possibly never see anyone else. You know, and I guess to some people that might be fine, but for a game like this, I kind of want to see other people within this world.
Yes.
But just because of the way that they're describing the way the world is.
Supposedly it would take something like 100 years, like real time, to discover
you would
every
die.
planet,
everything.
Yeah,
They said you would die before you ever see everything that's in the game.
exactly. Which is insane.
Sounds like science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. It sounds too good to be true. And if it does wind up being true, how much of it? You know, like, that's the thing. If it is like that, and it takes so long to, you may never see another person or whatever. Can I link up with my friends? Is it easy for me to, link up with them and fly together? Which it seems like they had that in the demo. There was somebody with them at one point, like flying. But that's the thing. And like, you have ammo on your on the ship. There shows a little ammo meter and all that. So you can shoot apparently and things like that. So are there creatures to kill, or just something to kind of keep you something to do besides just pure exploration, I guess.
Yeah, because they didn't show anything on the level of, other than exploration. It was nothing on the level of Minecraft, like craft. Like, I know they say you're going to be able to craft, but to what extent? Am I going to be able to craft structures the same way you can do in Minecraft? Mm-hmm. To the point where I can build my own little village. Those kind of things. And if I can't link up with friends, if I'm spending majority of the game by myself, if they, I think they will have that matchmaking. Well, I wouldn't say matchmaking, just that like possibility.
Of players.
Because I think without that, I kind of think it can kind of get boring very quick.
Yeah, here's that thing of my mind kind of just wandering into my own thing, like trying to make a game more than what it is. I want to have space battles, I want giant ships and we just go up and like two planets are beside each other and they go to war, meet up in space. I want to see like Star Fox just flying around, taking out people,
Yeah, you gotta take off work to get to the battles.
It's like, I gotta go fight in the war, sir. I'm sorry. Paperwork's all done.
They did say it was gonna be air combat and ship battle, so I mean, we'll see. Like, it still doesn't have a date. I'm very skeptical that this game will be released this year. But I mean,
for this generation.
Like, we did some math, and it'll come out, about another 70 years, guys. Sorry, our bad on that.
And I need to know if there's going to be fast travel.
There has to be.
I'm gonna need to train my kid to just sit there and like all right, push the forward button. I'll be back in 6 hours when we make it to where we're going.
That has to be.
That has to be. Like, I guess it just saves the planets that you've already, found or whatever, explored.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and it definitely sounds like everyone else is looking forward to it as well.
Definitely.
I don't see how it couldn't pique everyone's interest a little bit.
Yeah, because it kind of brings about that like pure wonder thing, like that you have a little bit less of that as an adult, but then every now and then, something will come out that just seems fun. Like your mind just kind of wonders on how vast, all the things you can do and the potential of it.
Yeah, because you have the possibility to get lost. I think when I wrote it up, this game, it has the potential to be a life-sucking sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah. And you have you've got a review up on Quantumcodec about some of it, don't you?
Yeah, I got a preview up on it, and
everybody should check that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a vast game. I'm looking forward to it, and for me, it might be fine because I enjoy playing games solo. So but as long as the world is vast and I'm able to discover and it can kind of keep my interest. And I kind of think even if this game can be 30% of what they say it is, it probably be all right.
Yeah, and then within the context of like what the consoles are able to do, if there's only so many planets, and then similar to I guess Bungie with like the weekly hot fixes for Destiny, are they gonna just be constantly adding content that you'd have to download on and on and on? 'Cause that seems like a possibility.
Yeah.
We'll give them the benefit of a doubt. Let's see, we're at almost 50 minutes. You guys want to talk about Furious 7? We have time for that?
Yeah, we got time. Let's try to be delicate with it.
Okay.
I think we're finally gonna see The Rock punching cars.
This movie.
Now gonna punch cars out of the way.
His movie. Okay, well, The Rock wasn't even originally supposed to be in it because of his scheduling conflict.
Right, but I mean, with the death of Paul Walker and stuff, with the movie getting pushed back itself, it kind of opened up a little bit more of the schedule for The Rock to be able to show up for however often he's in it.
I kind of blame Universal for all of this because they wanted the movie done the very next year, and instead of waiting 2 or 3 years, they've kind of had to do a bunch of rewrites because of that. The director didn't return.
Yeah.
What was his name? Justin Lin.
Justin Lin.
Yeah. The Rock wasn't originally supposed to be in it.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's not a true sequel to this franchise because Justin Lin has been in charge of it since all the way from Tokyo Drift. So that's basically his story right there. But since then, since they've rewritten everything, The Rock's back in it. We have a few scenes that's already been filmed with Paul Walker. His brothers did some stand-ins. So the movie's done.
His I guess his younger brother, there was actually talks about writing him in as a character for future movies.
Yeah, because I kind of think that no matter how this movie turns out, after this movie they have to take a few years off, and I kind of think they would have to come back with a younger cast. They would have to kind of start everything back over again if they do decide to do another Fast and the Furious after the Furious 7.
And they could have made it work. They really could have made it work if they would have took that 2-year break.
Yeah,
supposedly 7's the start of like their third trilogy. Like basically, 1, 2, and 3 are kind of a trilogy. 4, 5, and 6 are a trilogy, and then there's I think Vin Diesel's already basically signed on for 7, 8, and 9.
Let's see, they had the perfect mix as far as cast goes because everybody was committed to doing it. Michelle Rodriguez made her return. I mean, it's like, to me, watching this franchise is like watching a good TV show, except in like movie format.
I mean, that's what it's gonna become. It's just this long running, wait in suspense for a year TV.
Yeah.
TV
but it's
show.
not like, I mean, they got Tyrese, they got Ludacris. It's not like they're doing anything else but sitting around waiting on the next one to come out.
Yeah, true that.
They added Kurt Russell, I think.
They added Tony Jaa too, is from what I hear.
Tony Jaa, Jason Statham.
Of course, Statham's supposed to be the big bad guy. If you saw the end of 6.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that Tony Jaa has to play Han's brother, uncle, cousin, somebody.
Tony Jaa probably really could kick cars and knock them.
So yeah,
I want to see him fight The Rock.
Yeah, I have a friend that I work with that loves Fast and the Furious to death.
Yeah, I know a few people.
Like the excitement I had after the credits of Fast 6, you guys just don't even know. It was through the roof. But now,
of course,
I'm still excited now.
It's like Fast and Furious versus Transporter. Like, how is that not?
That's when it started. Like, Fast and Furious just kind of seems like a mashup series, Like, it's just all these people that you see from other things. Like, let's start rapper doing in this movie.
I heard.
Like, just people, they're just pulling random people like, hey, here, you, what were you in? You. Like, just grabbing, people from everything and just throwing them all together, and it's awesome.
I heard Optimus Prime was supposed to be in 8 So
Like, I'm hoping that would be. I actually would not be mad in the slightest if they did that. Like, I would, and you can't tell me. You can't tell me you wouldn't go see that.
Right.
I definitely think that in a couple of years we will have a mashup of Transformers and G.I. Joe.
I was hoping for that early on when G.I. Joe first came out, the first one. I was hoping, like during that scene when they're running through the street, I just wanted to see Optimus Prime and Megatron just roll through, just fighting each other, and that's it. You don't see anything else. You know, like that's it. They don't acknowledge it. They're like, "What was that?" And just keep going. And that would have made that movie a like 9 instead of a 2.
Yeah. Well, the Rock's coming back for the third G.I. Joe movie, and if it's as successful financially as the second one was, then there's potential there because I think Michael Bay's leaving the Transformers franchise finally.
Out. Like he is climbing his way out, just like crawling, just trying to get out of Transformers, and they're just like, no,
one explosion at a time.
Yeah. He wanted out of the last 2, but
he's been trying to get out. They won't let him.
They financed Pain and Gain for him, so he came back for the 4th one. And I don't know, like they would probably have to give him $1 billion to stay on and do the next one.
yeah. Which the 4, I was so unexcited for 4, and when it came out, like I actually went and watched it, and other people were like, "Oh my god, it was the worst movie ever" and stuff. Like a few people I talked to. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, whatever.
If you think this is the worst Transformers, you must not have seen any of the other ones.
I will say that the one thing that this previous Transformers did for me was it got me remotely excited for the sequel to come out.
Yeah, I kind of want to see where they take it as well.
So, really, we're just going to get Transformers on Cybertron? We're going to get a movie about Transformers?
It might.
Yeah, I mean, like it does that. It does stir a little bit of interest. Before, like, I don't know what everybody else was expecting, but my expectations were super low for 4. When I went to see it, you know, I was expecting Transformers to be in it, and they were. So I was like, okay, cool, Transformers movie. Done.
I mean, seeing Optimus Prime on the back of the Dinobots with Grimlock, it's just like, how could you not go see this movie?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it was great. But before we get up out of here, Jay, I want to discuss one of the topics we have on the document. What happened with this Tom Hardy and the Suicide Squad?
Colby?
See what had happened was Tom Hardy was one of the first names attached. He was involved. You know, he was in line to be Rick Flag, which is, you know, the leader of several different versions of the Suicide Squad. He came on before the script was finished and before really any of the other actors came on. So when Jared Leto became the Joker and Will Smith became Deadshot, I mean, you have 2 really big names attached to 2 pretty popular characters. Deadshot less popular, but still kind of in the social conscious because of the Arrow show. So what they did was they went back, rewrote almost the entire script, and basically relegated Tom Hardy's character to a very supporting role, or very supporting cast. And, you know, he's got Mad Max coming out. He's got a couple other really high-profile movies, you know, down the line. And he said, I don't have time to put aside, like, major projects to be basically a side character. Yeah.
I don't blame. I mean, Tom Hardy's a big name.
Yeah.
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 So no, I don't blame him at all. I feel like I don't know. I would have liked to see him stay on, but I think, you know, he's already had a little bit of a run-in with WB, with Warner Brothers Studios being Bane. You know, he didn't have a great experience. He liked Christopher Nolan, but he didn't have a great experience with, I guess, the producers and stuff like that. So this was kind of him giving them a second chance at it. So he was kind of already soured on them. And then this situation happened, and he was like, you know what, I'm out. Bump it.
They haven't talked about the replacement or anything like that.
They have a couple of names on the list. I don't remember what any of them are yet, but
yeah. At this point, though, like with everything I'm hearing from them, it could be a duck, and I'm just like, makes sense, fits. Like I kind of can't have any interest You know, like
Yeah.
I can only have a certain amount because everything they're doing, especially when Marvel's next door, you know, doing all these amazing, fantastic films,
But I
just hear
got
all these bad things, you know.
but it's only one word you need to know for the Suicide Squad, and that's Oprah.
Well,
If they can get Oprah, I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
well, they've been looking at another. What's that lady from How to Get Away with Murder?
Oh, the
Viola
anger-
Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
Viola
Yeah.
Davis.
She's probably gonna be Amanda Waller.
Yeah, they've been looking at her too. But yeah, like you said, Oprah.
If they put Oprah on it, I'm going to see it. That's a ball.
It's done.
That's it.
Everybody gets a free gift in theater. Yeah.
Just to see Oprah standing next to a superhero. that's a wallpaper right there. I would have to make that into a wallpaper.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. One last thing. Who's been keeping up with Arrow?
That would be you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the new Ra's al Ghul?
Noble, I think he did a good job. I think the scare there for a while was that Liam Neeson was going to come in and play it, and then which I love Neeson, but then that would have permanently tied Arrow, I guess, in a lot of people's minds to like the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I honestly I would have liked to have seen it, but I'm kind of glad that fell through, so we kind of keep
Start
Arrow
over.
detached. Yeah. Like, I think we need to move away from the Nolan trilogy as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially, like, I mean, you don't want what's coming out to be in any way, you know, you're trying to, it's a lot to try to step up to. Like, because while, you know, you have different, you know, views of the Nolan trilogy, for the most part, everybody, like, feels that those are solid films.
Yeah,
you know, they were
are
really good, entertaining films. So they really, like, releasing Batman so close, they really kind of want to step away and try to make people forget, really, that those movies came out.
Right. Well, they've already recast Batman. They've recast the Joker.
Yeah.
And, you know, attaching anything to that, like, say, Arrow, then it brings up, you know, the whole situation was like, all right, well, does that mean, you know, is Ra's al Ghul dead? Or, you know, is like Two-Face dead? You know, what's the, does bringing him over, does that bring all the baggage of the Nolan trilogy?
Yeah, what I really do like is it seems that they're sticking with, like, the comic book, you know, continuity of him being, you know, being immortal, basically living for a long period of time. It seems like they're sticking to that. And I'm glad that Arrow has finally gone in that direction of things being, you know, mystical and superpowered and all of that. Yeah. Like, I mean, because it was kind of a step for them, because you had Batman and it was more realistic based, and, you know, coming off the success of that, you kind of want to imitate it. But I'm glad that they finally, you know, taken that step outside and found confidence in doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, everything they touched so far has been pretty well received, and they've done a really good job. They do a good job of, like, thinking everything out. I mean, early on, you know, they used they still do use a lot of Batman villains, but they were using, you know, like the Royal Flush Gang, you know, Deadshot, people like that. And even with, like, Count Vertigo, he's not a guy that floats around and shoots out waves out of his head to make you dizzy. You know, it's like they turned it into like a drug and everything. They're making everything practical.
Yes. Yeah.
Even the stuff that's mystical, you know, they still find some way to ground it.
Right. The one thing I can say about season 3 is it managed to keep my attention after season 2, which I thought wasn't going to happen. Because coming from Slade, Deathstroke.
Yeah. When they announced Ra's al Ghul as kind of the big bad for season 3, my first thought was, of course, where else? How they have to go up from Deathstroke? You know, who they possibly use, like Darkseid.
Exactly.
you know, coming, like, from the Smallville days, I almost wouldn't be surprised. You know, if I still had that mindset, if it hadn't already, you know, proven itself to be, you know, like mindful, then I would expect that. I'm like, yeah, Darkseid, sounds about right.
Yeah, like right now he's Green Arrow, but he's still not being called Green Arrow.
Right.
Yeah.
They do a good job of still managing to separate Arrow and Flash. I think. Like you got on one side, you got Arrow. You know, he's dealing with Ra's al Ghul, the League of Assassins, things like that. But still, you know, they bring in Wildcat. You know, they're training up a new Black Canary. Like they're still keeping everything. I call it street level. Like they're keeping everything, you know, below the superpowers. But then, you know, the night before Arrow comes on, you got Flash over there dealing with, you know, Weather Wizard and the Mist, all these kind of, you know, all these crazy people.
Yeah, and they do a good job of kind of keeping you linked, like, you know, establishing that in your head that those shows are linked together in the same universe.
Yeah,
because you see things like news stories or, you know, things that kind of align with each other in the shows, and little stuff like that helps. Like I like seeing little stuff like that.
Well, they have, you know, they've had Felicity go over to the Flash show a couple times, which I feel, you know, in the next year, you know, season, I guess it'd be season 2 of Flash, season 4 of Arrow. They plan on doing an annual crossover, like I guess 2-hour event, like they did, you know, the previous, you know, the first mid-season. I don't know if they're gonna cross over again in the second half of this season or not, but they're definitely gonna start, I guess, blurring the lines a little bit more with each show, which can only help both of them because they're both great.
Yeah, they've both been really fantastic. I'm actually kind of glad that they're not being linked with the movies, because I feel Flash and Arrow are better than what's coming in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I know there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people that wanted, which I think the people who want Arrow in the movieverse feel like Stephen Amell kind of deserves it more than they really get kind of the dynamic of it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They've already done so much in the show that they can't take, similar to the Liam Neeson situation. Like they can't take him into the movie and bring all of that with them, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I do agree. I think Stephen Amell deserves.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be upset. Like, I mean, because that's how I feel. I feel he deserves it, so I wouldn't be upset. Like so much as seeing him, I would, you know, like that. But I just hate everything about the cinematic universe right now. So it'd be disappointing. It's like, oh, awesome, but too bad he's here. You know,
Yeah,
it's like inviting him to a bad party. Just like, hey man, you're awesome. Check out. Oh, sorry, we just have this crap for you.
Yeah.
D, was there anything else we needed?
No, I think we'll save a few things for the next podcast.
Yeah.
And the next one we'll probably have a better structure.
Yeah, Kobe's in his car right now, I believe. In case you guys didn't know.
We're gonna get him.
I like this whole winging thing, though. We got something going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of off the top of the head.
He might need to be in his car every 2 weeks. So,
but yeah,
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
So yeah, all right, that's the first episode of the Codec Corner. We plan on uploading this to iTunes before we release it to YouTube. So you guys just come check it out. I'll have all that information as soon as I create it.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
A lot of work to do. Just remember, even after listening to the podcast, you guys can visit us on quantumcodec.com. Come check out the site, read some articles, look at the videos, and we have more to come in the future.